Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for North Dakota Today. I'm Lisa Bedell here with Chris Berg. We made it to Friday. We're wearing red today for Go Red. Go Red for Women. It's American Heart Month, so reminding people to take care of their hearts. And on that note, I hate when I have to start like this, and I've really worked very hard to try to pull myself together because I most of the morning cried. We have very sad news to share once again, a little boy that really captured all of our hearts and who we have talked about quite a bit here on North Dakota Today on Valley News Live. Grantley Johnson passed away last night. West Fargo second grader. There he is. We first started talking about Grantley because he had leukemia, and the West Fargo School District really, it expands past that. West Fargo, the whole Fargo-Moorhead community really rallied around him. They had these orange superhero shirts that, fight like a superhero, hashtag Grantley Strong. He got a lot of attention from, he was a big wrestling fan as well. And some of I'm not a big wrestler, but some of those wrestlers, would reach out to him and really help support him and his family. And I know his family is a little more private than some throughout this fight, but Grantley was a second grader at Freedom Elementary, same class as my daughter Bailey. So we have been noticing he had leukemia. He beat it the first time, thought it was all done, and then it came back. And I know we talked about this. There was that's his mom there in the video there. West Fargo School District threw a big Christmas party for him because Christmas was one of his favorite holidays, and it was really great to see him just be able to be a kid. It's hard. Grantley at Freedom, the Freedom family was also the same family that had to deal with the loss of Landon Solberg. Landon and Grantley were friends, and obviously those families could relate in a way that nobody ever wants to be able to relate. And as I was telling people before the show, looking at this video and seeing this little boy and just being devastated by having to continue to tell these stories, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? You don't want anyone to ever have cancer. It doesn't matter if it's a grandmother, an adult, but it's just not fair to me when kids get cancer, right? Kids shouldn't have to deal with this.
It's one of those things you just have to kind of look up to the man upstairs and go, look, I don't understand this, but I hope there's a reason and a purpose for it. And so the only way you can have any solace about it, because it's just, you're right, it's not fair. And it's so sad when you see those pictures of him and the struggle he went through to just even get to second grade.
When you say that, it reminds me of Landon Solberg and the Solberg family. How Landon said he's not scared to pass away because he knows that Jesus had a plan for him. And, I guess you do have to have faith.
Shortly before he passed, and it was just an amazing serenity around him. It's one of those feelings you get where you can't really put into words, where you're like, he's okay. He knows what's coming. He's at peace with it. It was really, I don't know if I have the right word to explain it. If you've ever been around somebody that's young, that's passed, where you just kind of get around him and you're like, I wish I had this kind of serenity in my own heart at times, and here's this young man going through this, and you just got this great sense that he's at peace with what he's about to embark upon. And like I said, I think for his family, you just have to trust that, God took him home for a bigger reason than we can appreciate here,
We know he's in a better place, but it doesn't make it any easier for us here.
It doesn't. It's kind of one of those things you just have to sort of see him as like this little angel on your shoulder and like.
And that's exactly, his parents posted on Facebook, that, heaven gained an angel.
Yeah.
Grantley really was an angel. So our hearts and prayers go out to the Johnson family. I also wanted to share this, as I mentioned, that he was part of the Freedom Elementary family. The PTA posted something that I thought, it kind of helped me today as I was just sitting in the newsroom crying. But as the Freedom family remembers our favorite superhero, Grantley, today, please help us take over those special superhero responsibilities each and every day. Pay it forward, smile at a stranger, help someone in need, thank a teacher, hug a friend. However you choose, let's make today a better place for everyone, for Grantley. That's a great post.
I was just going to say, it's funny you say that. Yesterday, I got a very nice gift from somebody, and they had a little card with me, and I want to share it with people. It's this little card, you can like flip it open, and it's got all different kinds of quotes, and on the same vein of what you're saying, sometimes when we are generous in small, barely detectable ways, it can change someone's life forever. And it's so true. You just never know how opening a door or giving somebody a compliment or whatever it might be, you may just think, oh, that was...
A smile. Sometimes it's as small as a smile. So, and I feel like you can learn so much from kids, too, because they don't get all caught up in the, politics of the day. They're just living life, loving their friends. So I know it's going to be a tough day for a lot of family, not only the family, but the friends and young kids who, I can't understand this, but I know, as 7, 8-year-olds, it's also hard to understand this as well. So we will, of course, pass on more information as soon as we hear about memorials and funerals. But, of course, this is all very, very new news. I'm sure that counselors are on hand for West Fargo school students. And thank goodness we have counselors in our schools nowadays to kind of help take care of our kids.
Your daughter about it yet?
I did. Yeah, we did.
What did she say?
I was good. Well, I know, when I read it, then I was trying to and I talked to my husband, and I'm like, well, what should we do? There's no rule book for that, right? And I'm here very early, so I didn't know. I did call her. I called her, and I put Marley and Bailey and my husband, we were all on speakerphone together, and I just said, I'm not the best because I cried through the whole thing. So I'm like, I'm supposed to be the strong parent. I said, I just wanted you to know, because I felt like maybe we should tell her before she goes to school.
I agree.
That Grantley passed away. And she was like, well, why? It's like, well, we talked about this. He was sick, and cancer, they don't really understand cancer. I don't fully understand cancer. And she started to cry. And I said, well, I'm going to be here for you. You just take your time this morning. This was a little after 7. My husband said they sat on the chair for, he said, about 5 minutes. She just sat on his lap, second grader, didn't say anything. And then he said she went upstairs, and he said she cried for about 20 minutes. And then she put her headphones on, and then she came downstairs and said, I'm ready to go to school. Probably to see her friends. I should have showed the picture today. I was telling some people in the studio that it's twin day at school today. You're supposed to pick a friend and dress like them. And we ran into Sarah when we were out for dinner last night. And so Bailey and Sarah are both wearing their Grantley t-shirts and their Grantley caps. So before any of this, we just knew that they were going to be Grantley twins. And I said,
nice.
Still wear that. It's a perfect tribute to your friendship with Grantley. But, it was interesting talking to my husband afterwards, talking to her on the phone. Then I called Marley, and I was like, can you just be here for your sister? She's 11. Be here for your sister. And then, the silence, the crying, and they're going to be talking about it in her classroom. It wasn't just her grade. Grantley was in her class.
Oh.
So I feel for her teacher as well. I don't think that teachers learn how to deal with this necessarily when they go to college either.
Teachers are amazing. I mean,
yes, they are.
Sit in a classroom with 30 different, people that all see the world differently, and you've got to try to teach them math and how to cope with the loss of a person their age at 7 or 8 years old. It's
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we do still have a full show planned for you today, and we're going to get to that. But just as we head into our break, we once again just want to say that we're thinking of Grantley's family and friends, and we want them to know that we're wrapping their arms around them today.